Give me 10 minutes and I'm going to double your show rate for all your sales calls. And we're not going to do this with better ads, nor are we even going to do it with better leads. And we don't even need to follow up with these leads more often. All we're simply going to do is we're going to fix one thing that almost everybody ignores. Now, if we haven't met yet, my name is John Magner, and I've worked with over 30 B2B companies, scaling them to over $500,000 to $1 million a month. So everything that I share comes from operating real sales teams. This isn't theory. This isn't a course. And within this, I'm going to show you that if your show rate is killing your revenue, these two fixes are simply going to kill that. Now, why is show rate the real bottleneck? Because everyone that I talk to as a closer, as a business owner, they love to obsess over close rate. But show rate should always come first. If someone doesn't show up, your close rate is non-existent. And you can have the best closes in the world, the best scripts and the best offer, but none of this even matters if nobody is getting on the call. And the reason why your show rate sucks is because, most businesses, they don't have bad processes or they don't have bad prospects. They just have lazy confirmation systems because people are always busy. These people, they don't think about your company all day. They have their own lives, their own distractions, their own families, their own priorities. And if the call feels optional, they're just going to skip it. So really what you need to do is you need to build way more value around the call, because if the call feels valuable, they're going to go ahead and hop on. And in reality, if you fix this, you're not going to need more leads because your prospects are simply going to start to show up to your calls. The reality is you don't really need to remind people harder. You need to build actual value and anticipation around the call, because we're not selling a call. We're positioning the call as something that they'd be dumb to miss. And in reality, you want to do two things. Number one, obviously, you want to build actual anticipation and value around the call. But number two is you don't want just empty hype. When people hop on the call, you want to actually provide value, because in business and in sales, the more value you provide to a prospect, the more they feel like, hey, if this guy's giving me it for free, I wonder what he's going to give me if I pay him money. And that's exactly that. And once you start actually seeing your calls as consultations, providing actual value for free, and really just giving without expecting to take, you're going to see more results. Obviously, these are sales calls. You want to close them at the end of the day, but positioning these calls and actually giving value to the prospect, they're going to be more inclined to pay you in the long run. So first off is going to be the setter to closer handoff, because the biggest gap that I see in show rate is there's no continuity between the setter and the closers. Setters are doing one thing while closers are saying another. And in reality, you want this all to be one engine. So the biggest thing is the setter needs to do a handful of things to ensure that the prospect is actually going to show up. So show rate is really just one on the first conversations. So your setter's got to do multiple things. Number one, they got to reconfirm the date and the time and just nail it in the prospect's head. Obviously, you don't want to overdo this, but anything in marketing, in sales, you want to hammer the idea in the prospect's mind to make it so obvious that they cannot even forget about it. In this case, you're going to hammer in the value that, hey, your call is at this time. Here are the expectations. You want to set expectations, and you want the prospect to show up actually prepared. Explain exactly how the meeting works. And then, you want to break down all these things. Number one, they can't be driving. That's a no-no. It's very, very obvious. Number two, they need to show up on time. It's very, very obvious. But number three is they need to do multiple things. If you have pre-call videos, which you should, they have to watch the pre-call video. But the thing is you don't frame this as homework, because nobody likes homework. You want to provide it as value. For example, hey, Mrs. Prospect, I'm going to go ahead and shoot you over a video right now. Once you get that, this video is going to be extremely valuable for you. It's actually going to be able to answer about 90% of the questions, so that when you hop on this call, on Tuesday with John, he's going to be able to provide you more value and actually take a look at what's happening in your business to see if we can even help you out. See how the way that I phrase that, it's not homework. It's just, hey, this call and this video is going to be extremely valuable for you in answering all your questions. Now, she's way more inclined to watch this video and to hop on that call versus you saying, hey, I need you to watch this video. If you don't watch this video, you're not allowed to hop on the call. See how I switched it from being demanding to being valuable. That's the biggest thing. And then secondly, you want to frame the closer as the authority. Depending on what you're selling, you want to frame them as the authority. If you're doing consulting, it's like, hey, Deborah, John is going to have a sit down with you on Friday at 12 p.m. He's an absolute expert. He works with a lot of roofing companies just like you and seeing how we can get them better results X, Y, and Z. So see how I am framing the closer as this guy who has a ton of value. He works with companies just like you. I'm including that, and he'll be able to see if we can help you out, and if so, how exactly. And you want to position the call as a breakdown, not a pitch, because if the call ultimately feels valuable, attendance is going to go ahead and follow. Now, part 2 is going to be automated email and SMS campaigns. And this is support, but it's not replacement. And automation supports the system. It doesn't replace it. So here's the structure that we use, and it's very, very simple. So all of this stuff is very easy to build out, whether you're doing it in Zapier, whether you're using Go High Level, Close, you can build out all these automations. So you need both SMS and email automations for both of them. So number 1, immediately after the prospect books, you want both an email and SMS confirming the time of the appointment and sending them over the link. Okay, that's step number 1. Next, you want both an email and SMS reminding them 24 hours before their call. Okay, now you're not just reminding them, but you're going to build value and you're going to build proof. So depending on what you sell, you want to provide both value and proof. Okay, so as a business owner, you should have a handful of sales assets that you can provide before these calls, because the more information the prospect has, the easier it is to close. So you want to build the most amount of value. So number 1, you can send over different videos. If you have case studies and things like that, send them over. And then you can also send over testimonials. Now, the biggest thing that you want to do, if possible, obviously these are going to be automated, is you want to make the value and the proof coincide with the prospect. So if you're selling lead generation to roofing companies, ensure that the campaigns that are going out for the testimonials, if you do have some, are for other roofing companies. This is going to ensure that the prospect hops on and the prospect also trusts that you guys can help their exact situation. Okay. Then you want an hour reminder, same thing, value, proof, but then send them over the link, and then 15 minutes before. Sometimes if it's too much, if people are getting annoyed, you can obviously give feedback. You can take out the 15 minutes before. But the biggest thing is you want touch points for both email and SMS for all these. And it's not about spamming reminders. It's about stacking value touches. So the call feels important, because the biggest thing is you don't want a prospect to hop on a call. Number 1, not knowing what you do. Number 2, not knowing the proof that you have. And number 3, not knowing who you've helped in the past. If you're able to solve the question about what you guys do specifically, the actual value you guys provide, and the proof, the prospect and the sales call is just going to be way easier to close. The last thing that you want to do is have these prospects hop on a call and not even know really what it is that you do. Because at that point, the sales call becomes an education call. and then it's going to draw out the sales process. And that's really the last thing that you want to do on these calls. And the reality is people don't show up because they were reminded. They show up because they expect value, they feel prepared, they see actual authority in your company, and they don't want to miss out. And the goal is obviously to close deals, but you close way more deals when you're actually, what you're saying is actually useful to the prospect. If the call feels valuable, show rate will take care of itself. And if you do both of these things, you're going to get higher show rates, warmer conversions, way more trust, way more closes. And the biggest thing is you didn't spend any more on leads. You simply just took the system, made it way more robust. And in reality, your close rate should skyrocket too. But obviously, we're talking about show rate first, but your close rate should definitely double if you do both of these things. So if you want this show rate system installed for your sales team, the frameworks, automation, accountability, message me scale and we'll double your show rate before you even think about buying more traffic. Talk to you guys later.